it's starting up the stream because I get
I,
what I've been looking at possibly branching into YouTube also.
I have to warn you though, this could hurt you and your stream population.
Whatever. I I mean, it's cool if people want to watch me game, but wha- I'm not a sellout
I'm
anyway.
using my mail-in ballot as a fan.
Oh my
Literally, mail-in ballot, no joke.
god. So the stream is started, just so you are aware.
Okay, so no cussing.
Actually,
So Peter, you're the moderator, so you have to tell us what the rules are. Do I get 2 minutes? Then Naveed gets 2 minutes.
if you want to act like what we just saw, you get about 15 seconds. Naveed gets to interrupt. I have to yell at Naveed to stop for 3 minutes, and then we go back to you for 30 more seconds.
Will you just shut up, man?
I am the moderator, and I hate to raise my voice right now.
You are a clown. No way. I apologize.
Yeah, wow, a shit show.
Yes, it was very much a shit show. I'm sorry, Friar Naveed. I'm gonna take off first. Yeah, it was definitely a shit show. I think, you know what? I'm gonna be 100% honest. I was expecting a lot more from the president than what we saw, and I think he shot himself in the foot really bad.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. I will tell you why, though. Let me give you facts, and then you guys can debate all you want. Um, a lot of the stuff that he was claiming, we've already heard. Voters that have not made a decision don't want to hear that. They want to hear from both sides. Biden did what I expected him to do. Okay, well, let's just put it that way. I expected this performance. This is exactly where I had leveled it. Trump, I think, did better against Hillary than he did against Biden.
Well, I think the debate against Hillary was a debate.
An actual debate.
Well, that, yes. But the difference is when he was going after Hillary, he was backing up facts and different things and stuff like that, but he was staying focused on what the questions were. He wasn't even answering the questions. He didn't answer the questions. And the biggest thing, and I'm sorry, and you guys can have your own point of view, but I'm very anti-racist. He could not condone fully anti-Semitic groups.
Yeah,
period.
that
He
was
couldn't do it.
weird.
He said, okay, and he names off one of the worst ones that has been known to be murderous and everything, right?
I don't know why he always does that.
He names off one and he goes, okay, I need you to
Back
stand
down,
clear, but
stand
stand
down.
by. You know, I mean,
Stand by.
Yeah, stand by. What does that mean? What does that mean? Does that? And I'll tell you what. And this is true. This is true.
Did you notice his new gesture is this now? He goes like this, like Hitler now. He's like,
yeah, he does this a lot. He does this
he
a
didn't
lot.
do that before.
No. But the thing is, this is the thing that irritates me the most. So what he's done is he empowered these groups. And if you go on Facebook, social media, any news group you can look up, even Twitter right now, go on Twitter, look up like the Proud Boys, I think they're called, one of the groups that he mentioned. They are rejoicing. They are celebrating Trump, freedom is ours, power to Trump. That is wrong. I'm sorry. I am anti-racist, period. I think it's immorally incorrect. I think that, me and Naveed can say for sure that we have friends that are Jewish that we've known, since we were born,
Well, Jared Kushner's Jewish.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that we know that were Jewish. Dad, Mark Malik, which was one of our father's best friends in college and whatnot, they were Jewish. He was Jewish.
Persians are related to Jews.
Yeah, there's a lot of Persian Jews, and people don't understand. People think that, oh, you're still white. No, we're not white. We're Persian.
All right, we're white.
I don't look at it that way. I don't look at it. Naveed, you may not have had experiences like I have, but I've been dealing with this for a lot longer than you have.
Yeah,
All right,
but so did
I'm
the
older than
Irish
you.
and the Germans and the
And
Catholics and
you're
the
absolutely right.
Italians.
It still doesn't make it right.
I think I
It
think
doesn't
And all
make
those
it
people
right.
are white.
what
Yes, and it doesn't make it right. Period.
so
I agree.
as far as what happened in the segment, because I've pulled up some of the segments and the talking points here. As far as their segment on race relations, uh, I feel like both. I'm not going to say Biden answered all of his questions perfectly. He stumbled. He wasn't completely put together. But
When you have someone talking over you every 1.2 seconds,
yeah,
it's kind of hard to focus. I would like to see you go on that stage yourself right now
I
and
I
try to
couldn't
keep your
even finish my
composure.
statement with you.
Thank you. That just proves my point. So what I'm basing my whole thing about
Yeah.
this debate is, it's not about the he said she said BS. I wanted to hear what you're doing for the American people and what your plan was. And
So
President Trump didn't do that at all. He
what?
didn't do it at all. I'm not saying Biden did it. Some things he touched on very good, and I was like, oh, that's cool to see. But I was expecting so much more.
Yeah.
This is the point where you could show the American people that, you know what, I'm going to be a president. I'm going to throw him under the bus and be presidential at the same time, and he couldn't do it. And
Well,
that's what irritates me.
I'm trying to get at
I disagree.
is Biden, had his answer. Trump talked about Biden's uh, crime bill back in the 90s for probably about 30 seconds, then went off on that tangent. And that one section at the very end that you brought up earlier, when they asked President Trump, will you denounce white supremacy groups? There's a big majority, a big part of me that just has to wonder why it wasn't like, yeah, who cares if they're supported by the KKK? Like, immediately the answer to that would have been, yeah, KKK, disband, fucking go away. Don't just stand by. Be gone. Who's gonna have a problem with getting up there and, Mr. President, will you say to white supremacy groups to back off? White supremacy groups, fucking just go away, be gone, figure your shit out. I don't know why it was like, why he was, well, who are you talking about? Give me a group and an example. Just fucking racist. Stop being goddamn racist. I don't know why that was so hard for him to say. Naveed, your turn, please. We haven't heard from you.
Well, I don't know. I can't think of anything now. When he starts talking, it gets me started. I don't want to interrupt. But I guess overall, from what I can think of right now, is that you saying that Trump didn't do a good job in the debate or whatever. I think that people are looking at debates wrong. It's not like a debate like it's a competition. It's a debate where what the American people want to happen happens. And I don't know if Biden showed the American people he was going to do anything except for shut down everything again and not get back to work or anything. And I don't know about you guys, but we can't do that for much longer or our country's going to collapse. It just can't. It's like going to war. We have to face the virus eventually.
Correct.
Am I allowed to interrupt, Mr. Moderator?
You're not allowed to interrupt, but it seems Naveed has.
May I interject? Am I allowed to interject?
You can counterpoint.
Okay, I will counterpoint. Okay. I understand what you're stating, Naveed. I'm not saying that Biden won or Donald Trump won at all. What I am stating is that the president was put on blast about his plans. He could not give us a plan. See, what what affects you the most, you as an American citizen, okay, and us or people watching at home or the American people, as you stated, what affects them is the plan that they have to implement that makes that singularly that's not even a word, I just made that up.
Singularly.
Yeah, singularly impacts their lives. Okay, so for example, we talked about tax cuts. That was like the big topic that they talked a little bit about. Um, with our current tax cuts, yes, you're seeing a little bit more in your paycheck now, but if you actually look and read the bill and actually look at it and do research on it, in the next 2 years, you're going to be paying way more in taxes. Okay, that's an example. Second example, we talked about, used to mention the COVID virus and stuff like that. He's stating that, oh, even Dr. Fauci agrees with me. Dr. Fauci just was on, was not Stephen Colbert, but the other guy that does all of his shows now from Facebook, and it's like his quarantine show. I can't think of his name. I think he took over for one of the Comedy Central guys. He does real straight up interviews with Dr.
Trevor
Fauci.
Noah.
Trevor Noah, yes. Trevor Noah talked to straight up Dr. Fauci, and everything he said debunked what President Trump just said. All right, and on top of it, the CDC says one thing, then 2 days later they take it back, and then Dr. Fauci says another thing, and then the president says another thing. They don't have a plan. That's what affects the American people. They don't have a plan. People are, he said, President Trump said that, oh, young adults and children are not affected by the coronavirus. That's BS. Your niece, my daughter, had someone in her area that was her age to die of COVID-19. Okay,
I don't mean
that's
There's
bullshit.
going to be a lot of
That's
people who are
bullshit.
going to die.
I guarantee you, by January 1st, we're going to be close. We're going to be over 300,000 people.
He's in a hard position though, because he's the president. He has to be very careful with his words. And
he needs to be more careful with his actions.
I understand that this virus is super, super deadly and contagious and all of that. And I'm deadly afraid. I haven't gone outside at all, barely. But eventually, we're gonna have to just face it that maybe this virus, there is gonna be no cure for a very long time, like AIDS or something. And we're just gonna have to face it and go on with our lives and let things happen. And I think he's doing the best job that he can to not destroy our country and make it stronger while protecting us from the virus. I mean, he shut down the entire country and made sure nobody could go anywhere and everything.
But here's the one thing, and I'll after this, I promise I'll give Naveed full 2 minutes. All right, I'm not joking.
No, it's fine.
He mentioned a pharmaceutical name, okay, brand company,
Pfizer.
okay, Pfizer. Yes,
I remember catching that.
Yes, Pfizer. Okay, he mentioned Pfizer. That Pfizer says we're going to be able to put this out in hundreds of thousands. It's no problem. We're going to have it sooner than later, maybe before the election. He's been
I'm not
defending
defending
this, right?
any of his
2 weeks ago,
false
actually maybe it was 3
statements.
weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, Pfizer just announced that they put all stop to their COVID-19 vaccine testing altogether because of complication. They had some of their test subjects already have huge complications, and even I think maybe a death. So the fact that he put Pfizer out there and they already stated they stopped everything, that's bullshit. All right. My point is this, okay? I'm an independent. You can go look how I'm registered. I'm not registered Democratic or Republican.
Which reminds me, I haven't even gotten to the Bernie Sanders arguments.
I have Republican tendencies and stuff I like. Peter can tell you we agree on a lot of stuff. All right, and there's some things I like that are Democratic, and part of that is healthcare. Be straight up with the American people. Let the American people choose what they think is right and wrong. And if you're straight up with them, they're going to back you for it. All right? He can't do that. He can't be straight up with anybody. He lied under a recording, or not lied, but he basically said, yeah, I've been playing it down. Even though it's so horrible and it's even airborne, we don't know what we're going to do with that. But he
Well,
says
that's
he
the
knows.
smart presidential thing to do. Like, you're not supposed to make everyone freak out. Like, that's some scary shit. I was scared as frick when it first happened.
There's a difference, though, Naveed. There's a difference when you can play it down, but be smart about it. He could have said, hey, we don't know some of the effects that could happen with this for right now, but I do recommend following the CDC guidelines. Let's wear masks, be safe about it, and hopefully by January, everything will calm down and everything will be okay. That would have been okay. People aren't going crazy. The president says it'll be okay. Just do what he tells you. But no, he didn't do that. He told people, oh, you don't need masks. You don't need masks. And he waited. He waited until the end of February, early March, to enact, I don't know the exact act, but it basically takes military funding to purchase supplies for hospitals and the ventilators and all that stuff. All right. And only because Biden put him on blast for it, for not doing it. All right. So there's no reason, if you knew in January and even early December this was this bad, there's no reason on how you could have. I'm not saying he shouldn't play it down. What I'm saying is he should have done it smartly by telling people what they should do. He could have saved hundreds of thousands of lives, but he can't say that. Now he's causing over 300,000 or over 200,000.
We don't know what it would have been like if he would have kept letting the flights and stuff, people travel around and everything. How much
No,
worse it would have gotten.
no.
I
I'm
mean,
saying,
look at Iran.
Ali, if I
We don't
may,
even
if
know
I may
how many
jump
people
in,
died, and they just flew back and forth between China and Iran over and over when the whole thing was.
we're not
going on.
talking about Iran. We're talking about United States of America here.
I would
okay?
say let's
And-
let Naveed go.
I do agree
you went
with
on your
closing the
rant.
borders. I do agree with closing borders. I just think that there was a smart way for the other stuff. Wearing masks could have saved half the amount of people.
Naveed, counterpoints? Or
I mean, I'm not a debater. I just have I don't know. My thoughts aren't as organized as laid out as Ali's all the time. I'm not good in this format really, but man,
I apologize
Oh,
for
man.
putting you on the
I thought you were
spot.
gonna school me. I thought you were gonna run me over. I mean, I was
I'm
like,
not-
this is what I believe, but you know,
I don't think. What I think is, I don't think that Obama would have done any better. The media would have been nicer, and you would have thought he did a better job. That's the only difference.
But we had that. We've had that under the Obama administration. In fact,
Swine
I
flu was,
actually yes, I got
was-
swine flu. I had swine flu. All right,
Okay,
I was in the hospital, and you know what? We didn't have this type of issue. In fact, people forget about. If
it wasn't as contagious though.
Actually, the swine flu had infected about 65 million people versus the 7 million that Corona has infected.
Yes.
Swine flu was much more contagious. It didn't have quite the mortality rate.
No, because it wasn't mutated like this is. And the other part of it is that a lot of people forget about this, but let's not forget about Ebola. We had Ebola outbreak here in the United States. People didn't even know about it. Why? Because they took the appropriate actions in advance to contain it immediately.
I feel like
so it was nothing they had to be worried about.
When that Ebola outbreak happened, I feel like I remember like less than 10 people got it. Right? Someone flew into Texas with Ebola. A couple people, as well as a couple of the doctors, caught it. I want to look that up, but I do remember like they were separated, quarantined, put away almost immediately.
Okay, so the other thing, really quick, Naveed, I'll let you interject. I'm sorry. Going back to the whole Crime Act in 1990 that you were talking about, it was actually in 1993 speech Biden actually gave about the Crime Act that he was supporting. He didn't mention race at all in the speech. It had nothing to do with your black, white, gray, tan, whatever, Mex, doesn't matter. He just mentioned that the streets have predators, and everyone uses that against him because they didn't like the word predators.
If we can come back to that, maybe we should break this up into segments. We'll hold on to that talking point.
Okay, Mr. Wallace, I agree with you.
just in general, I just want to say that like I just this whole time from the beginning, maybe I'm biased, maybe I'm not, but being a huge avid Bernie Sanders supporter, there's like no motivation for me to like go vote for Biden or Trump. And it's just like,
But you're
uh,
incorrect. But you're incorrect, Naveed. There is motive to vote. Period.
Well,
This
well,
motivation is an
yeah, of
intrinsic
course.
thing.
But like,
Um,
it's not like I'm like gonna be ecstatic jumping for joy shooting fireworks off if Biden or Trump become president in a few months. I'm not gonna be like super happy, like
hmm
especially the way I'm sorry to change subject a little bit, but just the way that the whole Democratic nomination set um,
yeah,
was ran. The media was so biased towards Biden, and every single one of the candidates landslided the only insurgent candidates, and it was just like it was just disgusting. And I don't know, they just picked the wrong person.
they've
I
did
think
it two
I don't
This
times
is
know.
in a
starting
row.
another argument I have.
Well, hold on to
They
that.
did it two
Just
times in a row. They did it to
Okay.
they did.
Clinton, did it to Biden.
I remember when they did it back with Hillary back in 2016, and I think I lost a lot of respect for the DNC when
Yeah, I'm like
um,
gone
what
forever.
was her name? Debbie Wasserman. Debbie Wasserman. Anyway, I digress. Ebola virus back in 2014. Uh, nine
Oh man.
people had contracted the disease. Recoveries from Ebola, 9. There were 2 deaths. Um, I mean, we caught it immediately. We closed it down immediately. People were scared. People were still scared, but there wasn't an there wasn't, panic because
Because we had a task force that was in
it was
place.
shut down immediately.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, when we talk about H1N1, H1N1 definitely wasn't the deadly virus that coronavirus is. I've run the numbers. Coronavirus is about 120 times more deadly than H1N1 was. With
hmm
65 million people were infected, only 14,000 people died, and now we're dealing with a virus that's infected 7,000 people. The CDC has actually made statements with saying that 10 to 15% of Americans have actually been exposed to coronavirus, and we have
And some people
200,000 people
don't even show
having
symptoms.
died.
That's the scary part.
That it's very, very concerning. Um, I don't think that public calm uh, was an easy thing for Trump. And believe me when I say I am not a Trump advocate. Uh, when I say that, I think that the right idea is to try and keep the general population calm. However, you do have to let people know what the dangers are, and I do think that probably one of the smallest and easiest things that could have been done was for Trump to come out and say, you should wear a mask, you should socially distance. And I know that as of late he has said it, but I can say with absolute certainty, recalling back in March, April, May, where, you know, he would be confronted about, like, why aren't you wearing a mask? Oh, well, I need to appear strong. It's not my style. To make public health, and I don't think that there's anyone here that can deny Trump has an almost cult following. It's not just a political side. Trump has almost a cult following. When you show people that you see yourself as not needing to wear a mask because it might be a style thing, um, that when you have people that look at you as that leadership, it comes down to you lead by example, and he didn't set the example that the American people needed to prepare that portion of the population for this outbreak. I think that was very poorly handled.
Mm-hmm.
Counterpoints.
Yes, I completely agree with you. Dr. Fauci stated recently, and I'm quoting Dr. Fauci because he puts out consistent information. What he always says, it's pretty consistent. All right, he doesn't flop back and forth really. He mentioned earlier that the task force that is led to, they used to have daily meetings, and they were consistently getting information, and they were constantly putting out press conference and stuff like that. He hasn't been in press conferences for a couple of weeks now because they have stopped the meetings that they've been having. That's why I've been told that there are misinformation that's being provided by CDC president, Dr. Fauci, and the president, and whatnot. Um, Going back to having a plan, this is a prime example of it. You don't want to create chaos, but you want to have the plan in place so you can control the narrative. Okay, I'm not a president. I don't have. Oh, by the way, I'm only using this counterpoint because I was about to talk about my education.
Okay.
I don't have it. I don't have a degree, but the fact that he went off on Biden about don't talk about me being smart. Actually, President Trump doesn't have a degree
Okay.
either.
All right. Let's
So
stay on
no, I
track
just
here.
want to throw that out there. But
Anything
the,
from you, Naveed?
go ahead.
Well, I mean, I really don't care if you got a degree 40 years ago or something.
I think what he's talking about is
the
stay on
coronavirus.
coronavirus. Talk about that.
I know that you had made statements earlier about the president's position. Final thoughts before we maybe move on to the next segment that they discussed. So we'll be talking about the economy segment next. But any last thoughts from
Well,
you on coronavirus and how that was handled?
He's
I
just a
think
clown. Whatever
I
he
think
says doesn't make sense anyway.
I think
No, it doesn't
that
matter what he says. Don't listen to him. Just listen to me.
Stop it! Come on, this
um
isn't the actual debate.
I think that as far as when this whole thing started developing in the beginning of the year with the China virus and everything, I I feel like everyone around me was scaring the crap out of me. The media was scaring the crap out of me. Trump's task force was scaring the crap out of me. Like it was nice to at least have someone who's supposed to know everything and seems to know all the secret information of this country and releases UFOs and shit. Like it was a little calming to see him like be calm and not like freak out totally. And people were hoarding, like there were shelves gone at the
Oh
grocery
yeah.
store and stuff. It was a little weird, and it was nice having a strong president there. I mean, I'm sure Obama would have been strong too, but like I don't know. I think he handled it okay, and everyone's just being a little unfair when it comes to certain points. And sometimes because you push him, he pushes back further and becomes more extreme. And I I feel like he's very susceptible to that, and he's not a good people's person. He's just Trump is just terrible at uniting us. Terrible at that.
Okay. So let's move on to their discussions for the economy. There was a lot of talk about who had the stronger economy. After I know that it's not World War III, but after everything that did happen between Afghanistan and Iraq through the Bush presidency, the
Which
Bush
Bush
era,
presidency?
second Bush era. Yeah, I guess that needs
Oh, you're
to.
talking about U.S. war with
Yes.
Iraq and okay, because you
So
said Afghan and Iraq. I'm like, when did that happen?
yeah, well,
And you had to clarify.
our fighting over there after 9/11 and going into the
Okay, I
Middle
would love
East
to
through the
start this
2000s.
topic.
So,
Oh, don't get
well,
me
hold up,
started.
hold
I'm
up, hold
gonna
up,
rattle
hold up,
off
hold
like
up.
a
Please
siren.
let me start.
Well, hold up. So we're coming out of the 2000s. We were in a recession. We were going into recession with having owed a lot of money to outside interests because of our war efforts. And we did see a good amount of increases in our economic status through the Obama period. Trump himself did have uh, good strides, but obviously with this coronavirus outbreak, that has really dropped. And the idea of the V economic curve versus the K economic curve, I have my own points, but just going into this particular part of that argument, Ali, you started the last time. We're going to go with Naveed. I know Naveed was kind of hoping to start off this bit of conversation
It's
also.
okay.
So,
I'll let the clown talk first.
I'm not always defending Trump or anything,
well,
Did you say
but
something, or was that your brain cells decaying?
okay. Come on. The debate is over. I'm so tired of that.
I'm just making fun of it, bro, because
I
last year, 2016, we had a shit show. It was like the Three Stooges in the Republican debate. We talked about this. Ted
yes.
Cruz and what's his name.
Well,
Now we have this one, and it was pretty much all Trump, but it was he
horrible.
was ranting and raving. He had no direction and set piece points to get his plans and to get people to vote for him. It was just about I
Ali,
didn't understand half of it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
we will
We'll
get
get
back
to
to
it.
that.
Gotcha.
We will.
Go ahead.
That is
Naveed,
definitely going to be a part of the discussion,
Naveed, go
was
ahead.
the
Go ahead.
level of
Sorry.
decorum. But
well, what's the
Naveed,
question?
uh,
Go ahead. Rephrase.
who built the stronger economy, Obama era with Biden or Trump era?
I mean, I can't say without definitive answer because they were both handing completely different cards. However, my life personally went way better under Trump. Just in general, I got my shit together. Maybe that's because I'm a millennial and it took 10 years after high school, whatever. I don't know. But uh, I just agree with a lot of the economic decisions that have been made lately, and I really want to get to the foreign policy and the military aspect of it, the
Go ahead.
economy.
Please do.
Well, so like everyone's making them seem like, oh, World War Three, but like no one's giving him credit that like he's de-escalated so many conflicts in the Middle East. We've gotten out of so many of them, and you know we're like trying to. He's holding extreme. What's the word? Reserve, not reserve, but restraint against attacks from uh, certain groups in the Middle East, like Iran, that's starting the civil wars in Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq, Yemen, and all these places. And they literally have bounties on Americans that are still over there. And, they blew up a $1 billion oil factory, refinery factory in Saudi Arabia, and that's linked to Iran and all this stuff. But, and, he takes out a mass murderer, a war, what do you want to call it, chief, basically, warmongering, Soleimani and stuff, and he's never given any credit. And then he gets like 3 different countries in the Middle East to recognize Israel, which is a first. Like, he just said, screw it, I'm going to make every other country recognize Israel, and then we'll work on Palestine, which I think is a great strategy. And, that's just like the holy grail of like being a president, is to get peace in the Middle East, and especially peace with Israel and Palestine.
So I do remember what you're talking about as far as the I guess it was an assassination of Qasim Soleimani.
Yeah, Soleimani.
Soleimani.
Yeah.
He was a warmonger that, and he was a very highly ranked warmonger, and there have been these
There have
peace
been
deals
common
coming out.
enemies with the United States. They had common enemies with ISIS, but he is part of the Islamic Revolution, Iran. He is just as bad as ISIS. It's just under a different sect of Islam.
Yes.
It's like comparing, Hitler to Hitler. Like it's the same thing.
So
It's just, yeah.
I do have to make some concessions as far as
Hmm.
I've seen Trump's recent peace deal in Iran or I'm sorry, was it Iran? Where was that?
UAE and Bahrain.
That was it. So I know that what he has been having happen behind the scenes has been towards bringing peace in Middle Eastern countries. I cannot fault him for that. Um, in my opinion, we shouldn't have been there in the first place. Uh, we should focus more on what's happening on American soil. I know that what's happening in the Middle East does have its reaches into America. We went over, we dealt with a lot of problems that were over there. Once the job was done, we should have started moving back a long time ago. Uh, Ali,
Yes.
you were military. You were part of it. So, what are
Oh.
what is your opinion on?
Okay. Well, I am a U.S. veteran. I was about almost 8 years in the Air Force and or Air National Guard. Air National Guard and the Air Force, one and a half dozen the other, the same thing. Um, and I actually served in Kuwait for a few weeks. I was served there enough to be a veteran. So,
Right
um,
before you were preparing for the Iraq War, weren't you?
no, we were.
It was like a couple months before it broke out.
It was before. It was before 9/11. It was right before
Okay.
9/11. In fact, the summer we came back, 9/11 happened.
Okay.
So, all right. So let me talk about some of the things that you talked about, Naveed, about the Middle East and where you're right and where you're wrong. Okay. Um, now, one thing you mentioned is that in okay, we're just talking about the Middle East here. Is that what we're talking about?
Well,
I have to ask.
we
I want to make sure I
segued
stand on point because
we
he
segued to
mentioned
the war after talking about the economy, which
because I
was
never
kind
got to
of
talk about the economy. That's why I'm asking.
you, how about this? Take a couple minutes, talk about the war and what's and
And
peace
then
in
I'll
the
finish
Middle
with the
East.
economy because my economy piece really will take 3 minutes because I can debunk everything that he just said. So no big deal.
That's okay.
That quickly. That's how you can go check my facts too and numbers because I've done the homework. Um, so this is the deal. In the Middle East, we have done the same thing that we've done over and over and over again, and it always comes back to bite us in the ass. Every time we go to help a situation or create peace, or, for example, remove Saddam Hussein because he supposedly, because they've yet to find them, had weapons of mass destruction. He did at one time. He did have them at one time, except what he had, they had already used during the Iran-Iraq War. Okay. Um, so my thing is that every time we go over there, we pave the way for everyone to have peace and get rid of the bad, but we never give them the tools or the resources to actually reproduce a perfect product. One country we actually have done this for in the history of the United States. One
Two.
country. No, one country. One.
Germany and Japan.
Yeah, but it wasn't so much as much in Germany because we didn't drop the bomb in Germany.
And
Okay,
South Korea and Vietnam and Philippines.
we dropped it primarily.
Vietnam.
Hey, this is my segment. Let me speak. I let you speak without interruption,
You did.
both of you. Okay. Japan is the prime example of this. We dropped the bomb twice on Japan. We set back their children, their economy, their resources, everything, even their population by generations by doing this. Okay? And people don't realize that not only did we wipe them out, people that survived had infections because of the atomic blast. All right? So what we did, we sent our doctors, we sent our construction workers, our engineers, our architects over there. We helped them build. We had construction companies coming from the United States with their people and helped them rebuild highways and schools and hospitals and
Well,
buildings. And Matt, let me finish. And factories. We
I
helped them
agree.
rebuild their economy. Okay, we did that.
I agree.
All right. And what happened, the end result is we don't have rogue Japanese groups or ninjas coming after us. We don't have terrorist acts happening in Japan that are towards us. We have a good relationship with Japan. Since then, we've had a perfect relationship, I like to say. Okay. And their economy has been thriving. You don't see it faltering like ours does, or a lot of these countries like Iraq and
Well,
Kuwait
the
and
reason
places like
why
that.
it's so crappy over there with all these civil wars over there right now is because Obama's administration gave Iran $250 billion and they used it to fund and sponsor terrorism in all of those countries
That's
and,
true, and
and,
it's
and
also
fund
that.
militant groups in all those countries.
Okay, all right. So part of that is true. Part of it is not true at all. And let me explain. The amount of money and where it goes, I don't know exactly where it goes. It probably does go to
There's
those
no
groups.
way
I'm
it's
not
going
going
to
to
those
dispute.
groups
Let
because
let me
there's
finish,
people
please. I
starving
gave
and
you the
stuff in Iran,
respect.
and they're one of the
I
richest
gave you
oil
the
and
respect.
natural gas
Let me
reserves
finish.
in the
I
world.
sorry. Can you put 30 seconds back on my thing because
I
he's
will
not
do
letting
that.
me
I will.
speak.
I will do that.
All right. No, like for real. Like I can't say where it went. I'm not going to say it's not true because you're probably right. It's probably true. But that's not why their economies are faltering. Their economies are faltering because the reason that rogue groups in Kuwait and Iraq and Syria and you have ISIS and places like that, the reason you have those groups is because
Vacuum of
after
power and other bad people are going after it.
Well, hold up.
again, this guy doesn't let me finish.
We'll let you talk, Ali. Go ahead.
Because I will interrupt your ass all day long if I have to.
Oh God.
All right.
Please no.
So let me explain. So you have these groups. The reason you have them is because after we came and dropped bombs and wiped out the bad regime, if we're going to call it, we
just
didn't
got
help.
dispersed.
We did not help them rebuild their economy properly. For example, I'm going to use this prime example. Okay, so we had the Persian Gulf War with Iraq. Okay, we came in, we got Saddam Hussein. In a matter of a week or two, we pretty much took them out. No big deal. All right. Side note of that, Iran actually took out the southern region in 1 hour. It took the United States 2 weeks. Just letting you know. I'm not discrediting them. Just saying that's some history Naveed would know. Sorry. So anyway, long story short, yes, we helped them rebuild a government, and the private funding groups that we had that was supposed to, the reason we went there, I can take my construction company over there and make millions and blah 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 blah. All these groups that would have been funded were privately funded by the government, more for security jobs. They didn't really make money over there at all. They didn't um send people there to build schools or hospitals. Yes, they were built and whatnot, but not to the full extent. They didn't have the highways. They didn't help them build up an economy the way they did, like they did in Japan.
So
They
Ali,
never had a chance.
I hate to that this is an interjection. I hate to do this, but We've actually only gotten through 2 of the 6 segments. We've been doing this for about 45 minutes, so we're gonna
Okay, one
we're gonna
last
be
thing before we
moving
do that.
on.
One
Another minute
last
on
thing.
economy,
Naveed
please.
mentioned the oil in Saudi Arabia. A lot of people don't know this, but Saudi Arabia announced before that happened that they were going away from oil and going straight to entertainment. That's how they make their money now. The oil had, but they
It
didn't care
still
about the
doesn't
oil.
matter, and it still doesn't
They also
matter
made
because they still
billions in
attack their
insurance
oil
money.
facilities.
The country also made billions in insurance money after that happened.
Ali,
I'm going to
you
tell you
can
conspiracy
you
theory.
can use a
Conspiracy
bit more
theory.
time to rebuttal earlier comments on the economy. Whose economy is better, Trump or
Oh,
Obama era?
okay. So I bought my house during the Obama administration prior to, and I'm just going to use some facts here. So in 2001 and 2003, the Bush administration implemented tax cuts that really caused the recession and the most largest financial breakdown since the Depression.
Mm.
Okay. That's what contributed to it, including implementing Medicare Part D program, which provides prescription drug coverage, which was a shit show back then, to people that were over the age of 65 or on Medicare. Now, that part was good. However, they did not provide the proper funding to replenish it continuously. Okay. It was primarily federally funded, and a lot of that money was not being recuperated like Obamacare has. Now, Naveed mentions that he has a house, things are good, he has his degree, he has a job. I've had a job during the Obama administration. I've been making over $15 an hour way before Trump came into it. In fact, I was making almost $20 an hour before Trump became president. All right. I have my 401k. I have my retirement fund.
Can,
All right.
can I invite a guest onto the Discord to debate this?
Do we
hold on 1 second, please.
shoot me a message on the side and we'll discuss that? But Ali,
So,
let's
you didn't
move
let me
forward.
finish. You wanted me to dispute it, and you don't
I
even let
know.
me
I'm
finish.
saying we're gonna give you
Now
about
I feel
another
like
minute.
Trump, man. What kind of moderator are you?
See, the left
I
is
should
just
expect
so
that from
intolerant.
We're giving you some more time. I'm just saying we need
Intolerance.
to
Liberal
wrap up.
intolerance.
Whatever. Fake news.
You have another minute.
Okay, thank you. So as I was trying to explain, that's who caused the financial shit show that Obama had to come in and fix. All right, he bailed out
Hey,
GM and
don't
Chrysler.
call Broken Skull
Give
a
him
coward.
give
He
him
was
his
a military veteran. Sorry, someone on my stream said that you're a coward.
Go fuck yourself.
Whoa!
Hey, why don't you come over to my front yard and say that to my face?
Okay, hold up, Ali, focus. Come on, man.
Sorry.
We don't want to lose you.
Sorry. Go ahead, keep going. My chat's going crazy now. Keep going.
Ali, come back to us, Ali.
Forget this, bro. You're the pussy ass bitches that are ruining this fucking country. That's what you are.
Oh no.
Well, you want to finish your subject? Oh man, I didn't mean to say that. I was just trying to have some. I was just trying to have some,
Oh man.
audience interaction. I apologize for reading their comments.
Oof. Okay. That's unfortunate. As far as
See, that's the one that just sums up our politics in 2020 is just people are intolerant to listen to other people's stuff. They just I don't know.
So, as far as the economy and what was discussed, and I'll keep it short, is this idea that the economy is a V-shaped economic curve versus K-shaped economic curve. The ideas behind the V shape is that, America was going up, we had a dip, we're going to go up again. And the separation of the K-shaped curve is that it comes to a separation where the wealthy continue to get wealthy and while smaller businesses, private owners, small business owners, regular blue collar Americans have suffered, whereas those who are making, six, seven figures, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year are continuing to build wealth. Um, and I know that there is a mindset long past where I believe it's who did the railroads?
Grant?
Was that
No.
no? Was that
The
Carnegie?
Continental.
But I do remember there's this idea that in these low spots, in these economic downshifts, there is opportunity. However, once this turns around, the economy needs to make a comeback, and we have seen the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, the almost, the elimination of the middle class. Either people are wealthy now or people are living almost paycheck to paycheck. The idea of the stay at home mom household is pretty much eliminated. People can't make it on one paycheck. The economy that our fathers had from 50 years ago is gone. You can't keep a home on one income, and that puts a lot of stress on the
It all
American
comes
family.
back to our youth, kind of, I feel like.
But the the idea that companies are continuing to pad their own pockets, line their wallets, while the American people, the majority, the 99%, are
I
struggling,
feel yes,
is
I
there's
I
there's a
feel
big
like there is no
separation.
party for that. There is no party that represents that argument that you're making, because the one party kind of pretends to, but they're just super shady about it, and the other one clearly it's just like strongest of the fittest, no safety net.
Yes, the
Which I
Republican
kind
Party
of
is
prefer the no safety
absolute.
net, strongest of the fittest, because the other people just make us live in like this fake misery. I don't know.
So the Republican Party is definitely the survival of the fittest. Uh, they are very much in support of. Maybe they don't support it, but they very much do enable the idea of differentiating classes of people. Um, uh, on on what was said in the debate, I have to swing Biden's way because I see the economy as that K curve, not the V. I don't see uh, the American economy as hitting a slump and then everyone's going to go back up and it's going to be great for everyone. It's not going to be great for everyone. I very much believe that it's going to be great for the super wealthy, and for the people
And the
who are
small
not,
the
it's going to
diminishing
tank
middle
us.
class. I think it'll help the diminishing middle class, but a lot of us are like a lot of the Americans out there, they think they're middle class or
We're
they look
not.
middle class, but they're not. They're like
Correct.
borderline poverty. They'll never be able to own a house, never be able to be out of debt or have any kind of retirement plan or anything. They're just fucked.
Correct.
It's like the ultimate story of the millennial for
So,
most of them. I mean, there are people who make out. Not everybody that happens to, but like a lot of people get left behind.
factual. And that's why I would have to say, as far as like argument points, I would have to side with Biden on that. Now, this is actually one of the segments that I don't know uh, very much about when they were discussing um, vacancies in the court system. Trump had said something along the lines of almost 180 vacancies of judges in positions um, in the courts. Now, do you have
Yeah, that
any
was a
take on that?
great. Yeah, I do. I mean, I just don't understand how asinine, how bad of a president do you have to be that we fought for you to become president and the people voted for you apparently, but then you, when you're leaving, you just conveniently leave up open over 100 seats. It just seems terrible. Like, how can you call yourself a good president at all if you don't do your job? You were supposed to assign people to those seats, to those positions, and you didn't. You failed to do that. That's terrible, I feel like. And you just left all those seats to be taken up by Trump, who may or may not be a good person. Even well, he's definitely an asshole, that's for sure. But he may or may not be good for America. We have no idea. I don't know. I have no trust for Obama and the Democrats and the Bidens anymore. They just do too much shady stuff. And now, not only does he get to fill in all of Obama's seats that he was supposed to do, now he gets to fill in the more seats that become vacant and stuff. And now the courts are all stacked conservative, which is kind of bad for anyone who wants to get rid of the, you know, all of the tax evasion that's going on with the upper class and the 1% and everything. I don't know.
That was something that I failed to touch base on when we were discussing economy, and I don't want to spend too much time on that subject. This idea that uh, Trump was trying to evade taxes or using the tax breaks from Bush era legislation that has allowed so many multi-millionaires and billionaires to get off without paying what would be considered their fair share of taxes. Um, Now, if I were to speak from a personal level, I think that with everything that Trump has done historically, as far as like um, when Barack Obama was running and he was, ordering Barack Obama to present his birth certificate. Like the idea of demanding that type of paperwork from another senator to prove their character, I think it is within reason to ask Trump to show his tax statements. He doesn't have to. No one is going to
They
force him
always
to.
bring up this subject, I feel like, whenever two people are running against each other or more than two people in the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. They always bring up this tax thing, and it's just like, oh, you show me yours first, and it's just like, guys, just show all of it right away. Like,
And isn't
and
to
then
be
people are shocked when these people are like wealthy and stuff. Like, no shit, Bernie Sanders is wealthy. He wrote a few books and people love him. So of course he's made money. Doesn't be ashamed of that.
yeah.
There's nothing ashamed of Trump being rich and him evading taxes because he did it all legally. It sucks, but he didn't make the laws.
So my only thing is that I would like to see tax documentation. I think that it would be a shame to a lot of Americans, this idea of someone who makes hundreds of millions, uh, and he's possibly paying less money than I would pay on my own federal taxes. Like I that's where I stand. Just this idea that it would certainly show discrepancies between classes if someone earning 300 million a year versus a guy earning 40,000 a year, and I'm expected to pay, you know, $5,000 in taxes, and that guy gets away with paying 1,000. That would be extremely disheartening for me. Yeah, Naveed, your stream real quick. That's looking good. What you might want to do in Streamlabs is if you right click and you hit transform, you can say transform stretch to screen or fit to screen. Either of those issues would help.
Yeah, I just noticed that. I looked over and I was like, oh man, I can only see half my face or half my body. Stretch to screen.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much the last thing I want to say about that is if the current tax law or tax programs that are out there allow someone that has an income in the hundreds of millions of dollars to get away with paying less taxes than me, there's a problem. And the one statement he made about, like, I don't want to pay taxes. No one wants to pay taxes. But it is essential for government function. And when the people who are making those dollars, that money, don't put into the government, it hurts. It hurts. Your stance.
I mean, I don't know. I agree. I just agree.
Um, any uh exposition on that? Elaborate.
I don't know. I don't have much of a more to say. I think you summed it up.
Oh, I don't know whether to be proud or just like, well, shit. Okay. Um, so yes, going back to the segment on Supreme Court
Hey,
justices.
hold on.
Oh,
Before we go any
what's up?
further, are we letting any of these people come in and say a piece or two and just mute them if they act up or say talk too much? Because people want to come on the Discord and talk to us.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I guess they can come in and then we could send them off, but maybe not into this Discord. Do you want to? We'll start up a secondary server. We'll just get this video portion going again, and yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, just lock room or something. Just because everyone's like, I want to say something to this guy. They want to talk to you.
oh boy, oh shit. Uh, okay, so let's I'm gonna create a new channel. You'll join in. We'll get this going again, and then we'll uh we'll get this going.
Hello?
Yo.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a just a personal server, whatever.
Alright, send it
Let's
to me.
pop that out and shenanigans.
People should be joining any second. This black guy really has something to say.
Oh boy. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. I guess let's go one at a time. Thank you for joining, guys. Uh, thank you very much for joining.
Do we
Uh,
need our webcams or something?
no, I suppose we don't need the webcams, but let's take a minute from each of you. I've got it in the order of Coda, Mike Miller, and then Nitro. So I'm gonna just
All right, I'm
um,
getting to Copenhagen real quick.
Miller, you go ahead of me.
Yeah, I got headed to Copenhagen real quick.
Yeah, me too, but I have to go get mine.
Yeah, hold on. Let me put in my Copenhagen. Listen here, you commie.
oh man.
I'm a fucking veteran, and that fucking pussy before ain't no fucking veteran. All right.
Whoa.
I don't know what that fucking coward getting a little Libby triggered after fucking people talking shit over Twitch. Well, I don't fucking
It's
know.
called leftist intolerance.
Absolute fucking lib pussy whipped coward.
It's intolerance. It's terrible.
Absolutely, absolute cowards.
I
Can't once they get bullied a little bit on the internet, they go yeah, and then
They
they
can't
leave.
face the facts. They just want to do the bullshit, but they don't want to face any facts. As soon as you say something they don't like, they just turn around and run away.
Well-
Absolutely. One thing they didn't address is military personnel are getting double their payments taken out of for Social Security. That is something that may need to be addressed.
Coda, if I may
Your
ask,
buddy's muted and he's talking right now. Maybe he's talking to his mom or something.
was that me?
Yeah, you were muted.
Oh, that's weird. Coda, if I may ask your military history.
I'm not in the military. He is.
I am United States Navy Naval Aviation's machinist mate. Served on the Gerald R. Ford USS aircraft carrier, working on F-18 Super Hornets.
Okay.
Thank you for your service.
Yes. Thank you very much for your service.
Listen,
But what is it that makes you feel that someone else that was in the service doesn't deserve that type of respect?
nah, he's acting like a fucking coward. He getting bullied on the internet. Fucking pussy, little bitch. The
Okay.
fucking service
Hold on,
supposed to make you strong.
hold on. This is going a little bit too disrespectful. I am gonna have
No,
to step
I
in
ain't
there.
disrespecting the service. I'm disrespecting the person. The whole point of basic training in every branch is to make you strong. They fucking yell at you. They fucking shake you up, and it's supposed to make you a stronger person. That guy is a great example of the system failing someone.
I know the guy personally. I would have to say I disagree, but that's just me here, and I guess your view there, but that is what it is.
It is what it is, gamer.
All right, so let's move on to Coda or Nitro. Did they mute themselves or what's going on?
Nitro's up the bat.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm a wing nat.
All right, Nitro.
That's,
What do you have to say about this debate, the Trump Biden debate today?
Well, honestly, I'm just really impressed by Chris Wallace and his moderation. I think he did amazing, and that's pretty much it. Because I'm a fence sitter. I'm a centralist. I don't really agree with either of them. But
I would have liked to see Joe Rogan.
Oh God. No, Chris Wallace had a very difficult job today. My opinion in watching that, it wasn't dignified. It didn't come with the decorum that people that are going to be leading our country should, how they should present themselves.
And the entire world was watching.
It's honestly, I think my level of anxiety just watching that, thinking about which of these guys is going to be in power in a few months. and just the idea that it would have been either of the two people on that stage was pretty rough. And yeah, Chris
What's up?
Wallace did
Oh my god.
pretty well. Okay,
This
what's
guy.
up?
well, hold up before we get to Bug. Thank you for joining. Coda's the one who hasn't spoken yet.
He told me he's doing something.
Yeah, I think he's putting in a pinch right now.
All right. Well,
Well,
I don't know
Bug.
one
I
thing
don't
I
know what
just
to
want
do
to
from.
say is you
speech.
gotta be really brave to raise your voice to the president of the United States.
Yeah, I
so
never.
I think he did a good job no matter what. I would be very
Yeah.
intimidated to trying to moderate that.
I never thought I would see someone just like telling the president, "You need to stop talking." Like, hold up, stop. Wow. But we'll get to
No,
that
especially
in a minute.
someone of his faith. It's impressive. His faith teaches a life of being peaceful, and I'm not sure if you're aware of his faith or his spirituality, but part of his ideals.
So, let's go to the next segment that they spoke about, race and violence in American cities. There were attacks against Biden about the crime bill that was put in order back in the 90s. Another big talking point that we touched on earlier was what seemed to be almost a hesitance for President Trump to just say, to tell white supremacists to cease retaliating or calling out. Not that anyone is condoning violent acts in cities, but so before I get too far into that, where do we stand or Naveed, what are your thoughts as far as like who came out on top in the discussion of race and violence in American cities?
I think that nobody came out on top. They both claim to support law enforcement, but pretty much every single like first responder type of person is gonna vote for Trump. So that's like a wash there. And I mean, everyone's pretty much, I feel like, on the side of Trump is just wrong on his stance and his choosing of words when it comes to racial injustice and stuff. I do, however, agree that we are being taught to hate our country in a lot of ways. And I feel like we should be proud as Americans, not go everywhere around the world and say sorry constantly. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm American. No, like it used to be you go to a country and you say you're American, they're like so glad to see you and happy to see you. And they are actually most of the time when you actually go there. But in most countries, but like for some reason the younger generation doesn't have that proudness anymore, I feel like. So it's good that we're trying to teach them to be proud of being American again, that Trump is on that side, in my opinion. However, it's good that we have both. I want them to be proud of America, but also know when we've made mistakes. And we have made mistakes. No nation is perfect, and every nation has sinned in some way, just like all human beings have. And I just want us to be all on the same team. I want to see a president who unites us, and it really sucks because like he could unite us, but
He's not.
then they criticize him, and instead of like taking the blow, he pushes back, and it just divides us more.
All right, so let's move on to Mike Miller. I know that you're listening. Give us a 30-second to minute view on your stance of where the debate was. Was there a clear winner? Your thoughts.
Now, I ain't gonna sit here and badmouth the greatest democracy this world's ever seen, but right now, this nation is being attacked by its own people. These fucking Zoomers think they're entitled, going a fucking couple grand into debt, goddamn pissing their money away in a degree which is getting devalued every goddamn day. And we need to stand together as a country, stand together. We were one of the strongest nations. When we go over on deployments, we go to Israel. I've been to Australia. I've been there, and people open arms welcome us. We are one of the strongest powerhouses in the Navy. We are one of the few nations that sail the seven seas and do not execute pirates when they're caught. And most pirates would rather be captured by us. Every other nation, execution if you commit any piracy. We will give them a fair trial. And when we come together and commit great acts of humanity in our nation, we stand stronger together. And I feel that Trump was really strong on this race issue and believing that a lot of problems happening right now, we need to stand together and solve these goddamn problems.
All right. Thank you, Nitro. Where do you stand on race, violence, American cities segment? Was there a winner in your opinion? Was there something that you feel wasn't mentioned, or what did you like that was mentioned during that segment of the debate tonight?
I honestly, the whole entire thing was just shouting over each other. But if I had to choose, I guess I'd have to go with, along with Mike Miller, and saying that Trump did win. He makes his stances very clear, and he never changes them. So, I mean, I don't. Again, I'm kind of a wingman, like a little assistant. But that's my take on it.
Okay. So as far as my view of what I've seen out of both of these candidates, I don't necessarily think that either candidate, not presidential nominee, had, well, one incumbent, of course, but I don't think either of them has put forward a solid plan for overcoming the race issue. And on a level, I think that is not necessarily okay, but acceptable. Race is not a black and white issue. There's so much gray area between what is right, what is wrong. However, as far as, this idea that one side doesn't want to support law and order, I think I can't imagine that either candidate up there truly wishes for anarchy. Both sides obviously stated that they support law and order. Trump obviously supports police, law enforcement. Biden had made the statement of supporting law with justice for all. I do think that the debate devolved a little bit. Well, not a little bit, but devolved during that segment. So I don't see that there was much of a winner in that, but my hopes are not necessarily to create a police state, but to bring people together to an agreement, and that's going to require agreement across both aisles. Let's move on to.
Hold on, I think my buddy Coda is finished dipping his Copenhagen's, ready to say his piece.
Oh, is he
wait,
here?
what? Oh, yeah.
Coda, you
Yeah.
there?
Can everybody hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yep.
Hey, Coda,
Okay.
thanks for joining us. How are you?
Listen, I'm doing great. I have to really say, I'm not surprised. When I was watching the debate, I saw 0 questions. 1 about the workers, 2 about anything that actually mattered.
Yep.
When they talked about global warming before they talked about workers, I just kind of turned it off. It was sickening. I mean, actually disgusting. I cannot believe that those are the questions they asked first. They asked about global warming and how it causes thunderstorms in the middle in the Mideast. I can't believe like that was actually a question that was asked. Also, I have to say, Joe Biden definitely didn't bring up any points. He actually didn't bring up a point. All he did was sit there and let Chris Wallace talk. And you know what? He won the debate because of it. Got to be honest with you. He did. I'm going to vote for Trump, and I still think he won the debate because Chris Wallace. But
I
again,
would say that I agree with you that Joe Biden didn't really come with any hard points. I think that for the most part, uh, neither candidate brought like really substantial points, and if they did, there was a lot of yelling over. We'll get to who won
I am the
overall debate.
Democratic Party.
Huh?
He said he was the Democratic Party.
Yeah, that was
he's
interesting.
yeah.
That's like,
He's
no, you're not.
No, no, because the Democratic part, or at least the
He's in
Democratic
shambles.
people, wanted something different. Um, let's move on to integrity of the election. The idea of, is it going to be an election uh not necessarily free of fraud, but is this to be the most fraudulent election in American history? Naveed, your thoughts.
Well, if it,
Did everyone else just lose Naveed? Was that just me?
What?
it seems like I'm lagging or something. What did you say?
I was just saying that I feel like we lost your audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Nah, I
hear you now.
dropped you a second. We can hear you now.
Okay, I had a moment of internet failure, which is a whole nother subject, natural neutrality and stuff. But before we go into that, or if we ever do, um, as far as voter fraud and stuff like that, it's like really tempting. I feel like for someone who just doesn't care and feels like they have no place in politics, like if someone came by and was just like, "Hey, give me your ballot and I'll give you $80 or $20 or whatever," just say, "Hey, yeah, that's a good idea," and just sell your vote, sell your ballot. And there's just so many wacky ways I feel like that people can commit voter fraud, and there's really no, I don't know what's a good answer for it. I don't know how you can prove it.
So with voter fraud, and I've actually gotten into some debates, and I wish I didn't, because honestly, there are sometimes you get yourselves into arguments that there's just it doesn't necessarily matter what you have on your side. I think we all know or can recall a time that we were in a debate with someone that just went nowhere. But what we have seen is that there has been voter fraud. I'm not necessarily calling out vote by mail, but what I am saying is voter fraud happens. There's a very low percentage of it happening. There are fail safes that prevent a lot of voter fraud, but the truth of the matter is, it's the same thing with the gun debate. I am very pro gun. I do think that there needs to be, uh, some restrictions, or better yet, I would love to see training on gun safety one of the big reasons that I have a lot of respect for firearms is because as a kid, I was in 7th grade up in Pennsylvania taking gun courses in school. We were educated about firearm safety, and we grew up with a respect for firearms. That being said, imposing gun control is not going to correct criminal behavior, and trying to prevent criminals in one way or another from trying to take advantage of committing voter fraud, they will find a way. Criminals find a way. Uh, the majority of voter fraud that does happen comes down to at ballots, either dumping votes, getting rid of votes. It's not that the votes don't happen, just that someone along the way will get rid of them, make them disappear. And that can happen both at the booth or through the mail. So I don't see the idea of a vote by mail being as detrimental as it's been made out to be as of late. Obviously, there are still some risks, but I don't think that it's going to be the danger that it's been made out to be. Let's move on to Mr. Mike Miller. Your thoughts, sir?
Now, I'm probably going to have to be voting in an absentee ballot because I know for a fact I'm going out to the vote when the voting's happening. But I feel that there is going to be a bit of foul play no matter what you do. When something like this, some has caused such great discourse in our nation, we need to come together. You know, we need to stand strong and stay honest and true. Vote legitimately. Vote for boyfriend-free girlfriends. Vote for fucking medallions. CTAC 1197. Come together.
Hoorah.
Hoorah!
Nitro, your thoughts?
I believe he's lagging out.
Yeah, he's the one that's got connections problems right now.
All right, let's move on to Coda.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with him. There's there's gonna be voter fraud. I'm worried, but where I grew up in Pennsylvania as well, and now I'm worried that the state may have a lot of fraud because of the case where somebody stole the ballots were thrown away, and I'm kind of worried now that the entire state is up in the air now because of that. And I don't know if mass voter fraud could happen. It could happen. I mean, it's not, and I mean, think about it. Yeah, I do agree with Miller though. I'm sorry, what he said. Yeah, I agree with the medallion. The medallion is definitely
The medallion.
The medallion. You want to see what the medallion looks like?
I don't know if that's okay for this stream, but I'll look it up in my own time. Let's
There you
take a
go.
look.
It's definitely same. I can't believe he said that. We have to destroy it.
Don't destroy the medallion. Christian must be stopped. Hoorah!
Okay. All right. Let's
I'm back.
let's bring it
What
back.
are we talking about?
Let's bring it back. Okay. That's one of the weirdest things I've seen. I don't know whether to be pissed off or laugh. I don't know.
That's Sonic Chew. It's a classic.
Sonic
Look at this
Chew.
domestic terrorist right here wearing that fucking medallion. That man,
Okay.
whatever the hell he feels like, needs to be stopped.
I love Christian.
Fuck Christian.
Let's bring it back. Let's okay, so we've talked about pretty much everything that was discussed. So who won the debate? Naveed, go ahead.
I think Trump did because you clearly see a guy who has his ideas and his plans and his view of America set in stone. And the other guy, nobody has any motivation to vote for a guy who really doesn't have anything that he's going to change or do differently. He just kind of seems to just like moderately disagree with Trump. And we're just going to be on autopilot. And I don't think anyone wants autopilot. People are really motivated to vote for Trump. People are mildly okay about voting for Biden. They may want to stay home and play video games and hope that everyone else votes and their vote won't matter. And, there's a movement, energy behind one candidate. The other candidate doesn't bring anything new. It's just Obama and kind of like Clinton all over again. And he did not. He needed to bring something different. Like, whoa, this is the politician of our lifetime. You need to make people think that you're the politician of their lifetime. And for many conservatives and moderates, Trump has become way more of the politician of their lifetime. I donated $250 in the past year to Bernie Sanders, and the media keeps telling me not to vote for Trump and not to uh, like Trump. And I don't like Trump in a lot of ways, but when I actually do my research and actually see who's trying to fight for us and make America better and make America the best and fight for our advantage, because no one else is going to fight for it. Iranians aren't going to fight for it. Chinese people aren't going to fight for Americans' lives, or Canadians, or whatever. I feel like Trump's going to do that. Even if I don't agree with 99% of his things, at least he is on our team. He's on Team America, and that's what's important. And it's not if you're black or white or Spanish or whatever. You're American and you have a citizenship. Trump is fighting for you to make sure that everyone around you is richer and healthier and happier. It may not be the best way, but the other guy is going to do this mediocreness that is just set for failure. And he's had 47 years, and I don't see what's that great that he's done. And Trump, I think he's an asshole, but I won't. I'll abstain, or maybe I might vote for him. But I'm Iranian, so I have a whole nother set of special interest in voting for Trump. So hashtag Iranians for Trump, and that's all I'm gonna say. I think he won.
So, for me, between the segments and the amount of mudslinging that went back and forth, I think that if Biden had stuck to his initial demeanor at the beginning, he could have come away as a clear winner. I think Trump came in way too aggressive. And it almost kind of started to seem just like that bully that you watch. And Biden, there were a lot of points where he just right to the camera, and I think that was very strong. But I do know that over time, he definitely began slipping. He began stumbling over his words, his views, and Trump was getting into his head. But I don't think that. I think that if Biden could have kept that same demeanor, he would have come out looking like the better candidate, and instead it just became almost like a schoolyard argument. And once again, a lot of respect to Christopher Wallace for moderating that tonight. That was, I mean, the whole debate was a shit show. And although I can't say that I saw a clear winner, unfortunately, I think that the real loser of the debate is the American people. That, this is the best we got. Mike Miller, your thoughts.
Now listen, our nation is at an all-time low right now, and I feel Trump can tear us out of here. And he is the man of the job. He's been the man. See, I'm going to appeal to y'all Zoomers right now. You see, in the Metal Gear universe, Snake became punished after a while of hardship and
Okay.
turmoil, and then
Okay,
he became
Mike,
punished Trump,
Mike,
and he was
Mike,
there for all of us.
Mike.
God damn
We
it!
we we,
He
we
served
just want
his
to know
country.
your.
The fucking medallion is
Hoorah!
really important. You need to realize
Oh,
how
don't make
important
me
it
do
is
this,
to the
Mike.
nation.
Don't
The
make me do it.
medallion.
You made some good points there. I got to tell you, you made some really good points there about the medallion.
I had to mute
artist.
him. It got to be a bit too much. I'm really sorry, Mike. Come on, man. Coda, or I'm sorry. Yeah, Coda. What was your view on who won the debate?
I think the American people won the debate. Think about this. We all made up our minds on who we're voting for. We just got to see two old men yell at each other for free. You don't get that kind of entertainment every day. Think about the entertainment that we just got on TV earlier today. You know, and
Everyone watched it.
yeah. Like look at this picture though, real quick. I mean,
Okay, come on. But the thing is, we're talking about America's future. We're not talking about The Bachelorette. This isn't supposed to be entertainment. This is, supposed to be, can we find the guy that's going to, that the American people would be proud to put forward as this is the guy that's leading us into the future. I didn't see that quality from either of the. Honestly, if Chris Wallace right now was going to say that he was going to run for president, I feel like he'd be the better of the three men that were in that debate because of everything that
Oh,
was
for
going
sure.
on tonight. Christopher Wallace was the most well put forward person in that room. Nitro, more thoughts from you, and then we'll go back to Naveed. Naveed's
Yeah, so I
requested a
think
little extra time.
I think Trump. I'm not really clear who won because I usually agree with a lot of things Trump says, but honestly, the only thing I'm concerned about is who's gonna pay for my health care. All right, I've mental disorders, right, and I need to pay for my paranoid schizophrenia medication. For example, earlier today, I was talking to Coda about the fucking medallion, and I want to smash the fucking medallion.
Okay.
We need to smash it. All
you
right?
guys, stay on subject,
about
please.
the medallion. What are they talking about? The medallion.
The
That
fuck is
guy's
that crazy, dude? We need to smash the fucking
I
medallion.
talked to.
I just want to say healthcare, wealth inequality in college, education were just completely not talked about. And affordable housing, things like that, I think they need to talk about them. And I did not hear like anything about any of those subjects. And it's so frustrating.
Yes, those are definitely issues that I think affect modern or and normal Americans. I know that you were talking about how.
Pisses me off.
Oh my God.
Rules. Wanna know why that pisses?
Okay. So, as I was saying, the issues that are affecting everyday Americans wasn't really discussed. I know that you had mentioned earlier about you buying your home during the Trump era. My house I purchased off of Obama's First Time Home Buyer Act, and if it weren't for that, I wouldn't have been able to get my home. So I do see positives from both eras economically.
I like to say that I think I might have gotten some benefit from some Obama era acts on my house too. but at the same time, I feel like I could have gotten a better deal, or like I don't know. I feel like I was still being taken advantage of a little bit, but hey, it helped me get into a house, so I guess I can't complain. Go ahead.
No, that's about it. Overall, uh, I'm I'm not crazy about either candidate. I haven't been crazy about either candidate. This debate has I'm not gonna say it's shown me a I'm gonna guys, I appreciate you coming in to talk to us until you started talking about the medallion. I don't know where this whole medallion thing came, but I do appreciate you guys coming in. I'm gonna be getting you out of here for the end of the stream. So give me a moment.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like your last statement there is like how pretty much everyone that's moderate, centrist, or left leaning feels like, and that's not good.
No,
That
no,
means a house divided on Biden's side, and a house divided will not defeat Trump. If you want to defeat Trump,
not at all.
and that's because we've picked a terrible nomination. I think everyone agrees is a terrible nomination,
Well, we
and
we
for
talked
some
about that earlier.
reason, this is like an indictment of the Democratic Party. You either need to fix your shit next time, or like the party will never be the same. It'll be third party is coming. A third party is coming if they don't fix. If they, I think it's already coming.
We need a
Because if they
third
lose,
party.
if they lose, I think it's third party.
Here's the thing, and you and I touched on this a little bit earlier, is with the Democratic Party and who they put forward. They're not listening to
They're
what
not
the
listening
people
or
want.
changing.
I mean, you and I, you actually turned me on to Bernie Sanders, and I don't agree with everything that he
Neither do
proposes,
I. Neither do I.
but I think he was a better choice than Hillary Clinton in 2016. And
He has less dementia than either of them.
and he was a much better choice.
He looks older,
than
but he actually
Biden.
has less dementia. Yeah.
He's been, in my opinion, obviously it's an opinion, he's been the clear choice, and I think he would have been the candidate to beat Trump back in 2016 to take him on now, but it's not in the Democratic Party's agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not. He wasn't actually even declared a Democrat. His title when he ran for the Democrat Party was an independent running within the Democratic Party.
Do you
He
think
was
that's
still
why?
classified
Do you think
as
that's
an
why they
independent.
blackballed him?
Partially, and just the media didn't really advertise him in a positive light. And
Oh, absolutely not.
He's not a household name because they make him look like an extremist, but his ideas aren't that extreme.
No.
He has some ideas that are actually conservative, and he has a lot of work done across the hall with the Republicans. He's from Vermont. He's not really super big on gun laws. He probably would have pivoted a little bit if he got the nomination and pretended to have more gun law.
I don't know if Bernie. I honestly don't know if Bernie would have. Bernie has
and
seemed
I'm
like
pretty big on guns I'm pro
Yeah.
guns.
Bernie seems like the type of candidate that would stick to his values. You know, we see pictures of him
Well,
looking,
there's highlight reels
you
on
know,
YouTube.
for
Just look up Bernie
rights
Sanders' career
back
on
in
YouTube.
like the 70s, and he
Yeah.
hasn't really wavered.
Same quotes, same sayings. He's given the same speech for 30 years, and unlike Biden, he has passed a lot of things that have good lights.
So I'm gonna pull off of Bernie,
Okay.
just because you know he's not the subject of
Right.
this debate. Just what do you think needs to be done for the next debate? We've got debates 2 and 3 coming up. What do you think each side needs to do if they want to win?
I think it would be huge, 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 huge deal if Trump found a way to attack Biden's mediocrity um, in college and trade school funding and wealth inequality, and found a way to like get healthcare for all. Like if he just tried to attack those things and make people think I think those are like the three most important subjects for so many people. And if he I mean, the war in the Middle East is basically over. He's showed so much constraint against attacking anyone and pulling people out constantly and just getting out of it. I think that's no one cares about that anymore. We'd like to see how are you going to tax the rich, and how are you, if he said things on taxing the rich. I think he should really go try to give a hand to those Bernie Sanders people like me and make them see some light in him. I think there are ways that we can what's the word I'm looking for? Compromise and come to a solution across the aisle. We're not so different than we think. We are on the same team after all. He needs to get people on his side, not the media's side.
Okay. So the way I see it is if Trump wants to win these debates, come out as a clear leader in his next
Oh, and he needs to
outing.
stop defending or not defending the supremacists and stuff, the white supremacists. He needs to come
Yeah,
out
that was a
clearly
big
against
thing.
them.
So what I
But
think
it really hurts me. I'm gonna have to vote for. I may be forced to vote for someone who is defending racist groups. It
so
hurts me deeply.
he is going to have to uh I think he's going to have to pull back. Like I had said earlier, he came in really aggressive, and it wasn't presidential, it was childish. He didn't come out looking like a good option. He looked like a pissed off guy at a frat party.
Yeah,
And
he needs to act more presidential for
I
sure.
think that if he wants to come out of this debate, these debates on top, he is going to have to ease back and stick to focusing on Chris Wallace. He's too much on the attack. If Biden wants to come out on top, it's going to be a matter of staying on track. I do feel like he was doing really well when he addressed the camera, when he was focused on talking to people. I think if he can stick to that, it would show that he would be the more composed option of the people up there. And neither of them showed that quality tonight. But yeah, if Trump wants to win, he's going to have to he's going to have to compose
They-
himself, and all
Mhm.
Biden needs to do at this point is remain composed and not let Trump get under his skin and continue to stick to his talking points. And that's how I think that they could pull away with it. When is the next debate? Let's just
Yeah.
look that up.
Curious.
So the next presidential debate, I know I saw it earlier. I know I saw it earlier when the dates were going to be.
They both just keep shooting themselves in the foot.
Oh, Broken is telling me it's a week from tomorrow. So, yes, the first debate was tonight. The second debate is going to be October 15th. And then the final debate will be October 22nd. The vice presidential debate is going to be between Senator Harris and Mike Pence. And that is going to be scheduled for October 7th.
Man.
So it's honestly, I feel like I just think it's kind of sad that I think that with even the nonsense that we had in, doing our little stream here, I honestly think that you and I and even the other people that were involved, this conversation was a lot more composed than the presidential debate.
Oh yeah, for sure. Most of us just want something normal.
What
But I
a
just, yeah,
what a shit show.
that guy just, mm.
So,
It'll be cool. Like I'll feel good inside. Like, oh, we have a nice presidential guy. Like as president, he's a nice, cute old man. But like, I just don't see him being like fighting. I just don't see someone who's fighting for us. I see someone who's just gonna be pushed around and who's just gonna. It's just gonna be a bunch of people we never see their faces running the country, which is not what I want.
um, yeah, I think we're gonna end it here.
Yeah.
We've been at this for almost 2 hours. Naveed, I appreciate you coming on and talking. To those that joined, Mike Miller, Coda, Nitro, thank you for joining. Um, maybe if we can stay off of the medallion in the future.
Thank you, guys. I think I need to like remember my my Metal Gear Solid lore or something. I haven't. I don't know. The last one was too long. I never finished it.
But yeah, have a good night.
All
Love,
right.
peace, and chicken grease. And I'll see you online again.